Welcome to my show. I'm a guest here. His name is Rufus Akinrinlola. Mr. Rufus, how are you doing, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Tokwe. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. And also, thank you so much for the time and the opportunity. Firstly, you are an author. You are also an associate research scientist and a supply wise farmer agri products. Can you please, Mr. Rufus, discuss more about yourself and how you are doing currently now, Mr. Rufus?
Good, thank you. Yeah, first of all, I am a research scientist. As I said, my name is Rufus Akinrinlola. I'm from Ondo State in Nigeria, but I live in the US now. And so I came to the US in 2015 for my grad school. I studied plant pathology here in the US, my master's and PhD. In Nigeria, I studied microbiology and at Ondo State University, Adekunle University. So yeah, my profession. I've been a scientist. I work as a research scientist, plant disease research scientist, and also I have my own business I'm developing, which is a Wise Farmer. And Wise Farmer actually has two phases. The first phase is education. We educate farmers across African and US. We educate majorly African farmers on better crop protection, practices. And then we also provide consulting for farmers in the US. And then we also bring products, help farmers in Africa to bring their product to America to sell because many farmers don't have access to international markets. So we give them the education and the technical know-how they can help to access the global market. And that's what the two things majorly that wise farmers do. So as an author, my passion is education. I love to educate people. As an author, I have three books now. Two of them is published for students about study habits, one for high school students and one for college students. And the newest one is The Build, which is also published for young people. Anybody below the age of 25, I think, needs to buy the book and read it and, follow the principle described in the book. So my goal is to liberate people's mind to empower them with knowledge because I believe knowledge is light. It's when have light, you don't have darkness. You can easily move. You know where you're going. You won't fall into trouble because you can see. A lot of people are walking with little or no light at all, and that's why they are struggling in life. Or you know, knowledge is power. So that is who I am in brief.
Exactly. I am so much glad you have so much inspiration for agriculture. We do understand our own background and our forefathers. They value agriculture and it's also a source to growth. It's a source to our lifetime and also the nature that we have. And also the great work you are actually doing in terms of writing books for the young ones that are out there to inspire them, to groom them, and to encourage them. Those are profoundly beautiful, which is why I would like to drive to one of them, which you actually recently released, which is Build 30 Days of Intentional Living. Can you please, Mr. Rufus, discuss more on the book? And do you also plan to write more books in the coming future, Mr. Rufus?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you asking about build. And you know, yeah, build, as I was saying earlier, is written for young people. And if you l- look at the name build, the word build is an action word. It's an action word and it connotes being intentional. You can't build anything unless you are intentional. And in life, you either live building your life or just following, the crowd. And anyone who wants to make things out of life have to build its own life. Somebody said greatness is never born. Greatness is made. And in other words, greatness is built. So I write build and put the principle that great people, successful people use to build their life into these books and structure them in a way that can easily, be understood and follow and practice. And if you do this as a young person, if you acquire this principle and you put them into practice, you see your life built up step by step, and that is what build is meant for. It's a 30 days program for young people that can help them to master the way to build greatness, the way to build their life into who they would like to become. I have a lot of books in my archive. I am working on books about, uh, you know, very soon I'm gonna be, I have books. Most of them are towards youth, young people. I have books on relationship about books about. So I have books that are very soon. I plan to be releasing a more book next year, and so yeah, I have books and like to encourage people. When I was in Nigeria, actually, I did a lot of talking to young people before I left Nigeria. I spoke to college student, high school student, and in talking about because I realized the power of knowledge when I was in uh, high school and primary school. People come to speak to us, things that we never knew, and because of that, they liberate us into opportunities. And I believe in doing that to the coming generation. For the coming generation, I mean.
Exactly. We'll actually be expecting more, Mr. Rufus, of your book and also the inspiration you are doing to the young ones out there. And also your current book, which actually drives us to our challenge. It's actually bring us back to challenge ourselves. A duration of 30 days to actually give ourselves the sense of reflection and also build ourselves in ways that can actually help us emerge and also be more productive in the society. And also, Mr. Rufus, I would just like to drive to your book, which is built around a 30-day system. Why do you believe a structured period of intentional action can actually create a meaningful change more effectively than simply waiting to feel motivated, Mr. Rufus?
Yeah, that's a good question. Somebody says motivation never lasts, and that's true. Motivation comes and goes. So if you depend only on motivation, you never attain anything because motivation comes and goes. It comes with feelings. So I believe by having a structure plan, there's one thing a structure plan does. It gives you an overview of what is attainable. Think about it. You are a master builder. You have a blueprint or the plan of the house from the foundation to the finishing level. You see everything laid down. That is what a structure plan does. And by doing that, you are able to see everything from the beginning before you start. You know what you want to become. You know what you will have by doing what you already planned. So that is why one of the reasons why social plan, it's easier. It give help people to attain whatever they want to achieve. And the second thing is it motivates you naturally because when you have a structured plan, you are able to see what you have done and what is possible for you. It's like, for instance, when you are climbing a staircase, you each step that you climb take you further and higher. And as you look back, you have this sense of fulfillment, experience this sense of progress. Like, wow, I have climb so higher to this level. So because of that, you are inspired to do more, to take more steps, because you see yourself. That is what a structure plan does. When you have a structure plan that you're gonna be doing every day or every week, by the time you do it, you start seeing the progress. You start seeing what you have attained. Now you start seeing that, wow, I'm doing better. I'm going further. And that thing inspire you naturally. It becomes easier for you to do, to carry out those steps, and it's very soon it becomes very natural because you start feeling it, you say it. So that's why I believe that it's better to have a structured plan than just to have a regular and just flow with the tide.
Exactly. It shows that the structure are tools that drives us. We don't understand motivation, which actually fades away when the time comes. But let us actually divert ourselves and see how profound well we can actually thrive when we build a source of motivation for us to continue to climb that ladder. It actually helps us to actually be in the position to thrive, stay more higher, and also continue to have those kind of sensitive motivation that actually puts us much higher and actually help us to do things that are actually more profound in the society. And I would just like to drive to things that you think are missing when someone has goals but cannot turn them into a habit. Many people know what they want. They are in a position whereby they know what they want to achieve. They have
Mm-hmm.
projects, they have things that they want to get. But at that time, they still struggle with consistency. So, what do you think is usually missing when someone has goals but cannot turn them into disciplined daily habits, Mr. Rufus?
Yeah, that's a very good question and a great one indeed. And I will go back to knowledge. Everything comes down to knowledge. Number one is this. A lot of people know what they want, but they don't know how. What they need to do to achieve it. You understand? I want to become a doctor. If you have, for instance, you go to young people, I want to become a doctor, I want to become a lawyer, I want to become this, I want to become that. But if you ask them how, what do you need to do? Many people don't don't know. So having the knowing what you want to do, I mean, knowing what you want to become or what you want to have, then knowing what you need to do, having a plan, of what you need to do, it's very important. So it's like, build, start with know your identity. You know, it's about knowing. When you know what you need to do, it's become easy. It becomes easy because when you have a plan, which is an overview of your goal, an overview of what you need to do, it helps you to give you direction and help you to take steps because you already know what you need to do. And the second is, I think, is that a lot of people have goals, but they don't break it down into smaller chunks. Smaller chunks. For instance, if you want to read a 1,000-page book, if you just even just hear that it's 1,000 page, it discourages people. How many days and how many hours gonna spend to read it. But if you take that book, say, okay, I'm just gonna read, forget about that it is 1,000-page book. Just say I want to read five minutes per day at least. If you follow that 5 minutes, it's easy to read 5 minutes per day. But if you just say every day I must read 5 minutes per day, that means you break it down to the smallest chunk. And let me tell you, by the time you read 5 minutes per day, you'll be surprised how much you have achieved in 30 days. So I think two major things that is missing is, number one, people know what they want, but they don't know what they need to do to get what they want. And the second is that they don't break those steps down into the smallest chunks that can help them, that can give them natural motivation, that can give them the least resistance. For instance, a lot of people want to start going to the gym and doing exercise, maybe for weight loss, but they are starting with 1 hour. After a day or two, they get discouraged. But you start with just 5 or 10 minutes weightlifting or body movements every day. That one is easy to do, and by the time you do that, and for 15 days and 30 days, it becomes natural. Then you can, increase it. So I think one of the reasons why there is no consistency is because those two things. People don't have the full knowledge or understanding of what they need to do. So because of that, they feel like the thing is impossible to achieve. Because they don't have the full knowledge, the grasp of what they need to do. So they feel like, oh, that thing is impossible. You can't. It's so hard. They don't even know. They just they don't even take the first step because they think it's not possible. You know, and the second step is they after they know what to do, they don't break it down. They see like a lot of things. The list of what they need to do is so much. Like, oh my, I need to do all of this, and those discourage them, and it's hinder them from continuing. But when they break it down into smaller chunks and just focus on those smaller chunks, it will help them to continue to persist. And as I said earlier, as they take one step, they see what they have attained, it naturally inspires them to continue the journey.
Exactly, Mr. Rufus. Implementing plan. Now, we are not actually talking about plan that will actually exhaust us. We are not talking about plan that will actually get us to the position whereby we get burned out. Little plan that we can actually do naturally, daily, and we can actually see a profound, hugely education or actually insights we could have gained in 30, 60, 100 days. So we have to actually implement plan if we actually want to get something. We have to implement little habits that we need to put in ourselves as a daily natural thing we actually do for ourselves. Those things actually plays a very huge role for us to get more closer to the destination zone. And I would just like to drive to the point of your book again, which also encourages people to live intentionally rather than reactively. What do you think are also some of the clearest signs that someone is living on autopilot? And what do you think they can do to regain that control, Mr. Rufus?
Yeah, that's another great question, and a lot of people do live autopilot life, and which is very very painful when you say people do this. And there's one quote that inspired me when I was in high school. I don't know where I found it, but it said that those there's no crown for the crowd. For there's no crown for the crowd. Only one person get a crown. So when you follow the crowd, you already miss your crowd. When you follow the crowd, you already miss your crown. So in the real world, when people live autopilot, they miss their crown. And I think one of the signs that I can tell you as a person that you are an autopilot, number one is not having a written goal. You know, when I have another quote that says, "If you don't have a goal, you are a goat." In Nigeria, where I live, when I was a child, we have what we call free range goats. Free range goats, they just move around, they go wherever. If you chase them, they turn to another direction. They don't have any destination in mind. So because of that, you can see them everywhere. But compared to a racehorse has a goal in mind, and he's always going fast because he has a destination in mind. And so, not having a written goal is one of the signs that shows that somebody is on autopilot. So the second one is not having a plan. It's not having a plan. You can have a goal. Somebody say if wishes were horses, I don't know how they said it. If wishes uh there is a saying that say that everybody wishes, everybody want to do this, want to do that, but how many people actually achieve things? Because a lot of people have a goals in their mind, but they don't have a plan. So when you don't have a plan, a written plan for how you want to achieve, how you want to attain what you want to attain, what you are thinking of, and that means the person is living an autopilot. And then another thing is a daily schedule that reflects your goal. When I look at your calendar, and if your calendar does not contain things that reflect your goal, the person is living an autopilot. Every day, if you only live based on the peer pressure, social media, or whatever is happening, only when people visit you, you only that person is living an autopilot. Like it's easy thing that people, it's simple thing that maybe you don't understand these things. When you look at your calendar, a weekly calendar, monthly calendar, what are the things that have failed in that schedule? If it does not reflect who you want to become in 10 years, in 20 years, in 50 years, the person is an autopilot. So then the last one I will say is how you spend your time. If you're not spending your time on your daily tasks that you are scheduled, it's another time to have a schedule and another thing to actually take actions on those schedules, on those and tasks or plans. So it's easy to know. It's not something you need to look far away. Where your action does not reflect your schedule or your plan or your goal, the person is an autopilot. Is on an autopilot. It's like when you throw a leaf on a flowing river, that leaf can find itself anywhere because it's just following the direction of the waves or the flow of the water. Unlike somebody who is intentional about where he wants to find himself. So to correct it, if you want to gain control, just do the opposite of everything I've said. It's easy. To gain control of your life is number one, sit down and decide who you want to become or what you want to achieve in 10 days or in 10 years or in 30 years. Write it down. Then break each goal down. Ask your question, what do you need to do? Who do I need to talk to? What course do I need to take? Break it down. Have a plan for each of those goals. And those plans, then put them in your calendar. Put a task per day, a task per week, a task per month, a task per year, and take action consistently. Every of your action, let them reflect your goal. Of course, that does not mean you may not have time for rest or entertainment that help you to relax, but let majority of your time reflect your goal, your plan, and your schedule. That's that means you gain control of your life. That is how to build life. That's how to build to build who you want to become. How to gain control of your time, control of your life. Um, that's what I would say to that.
Honestly speaking, Mr. Rufus, to be honest, you just make the point of we trying our best to live a purposeful life.
Mhm.
We do understand the kind of world we find ourselves. We do understand the distraction, but actually trying our best to live a purposeful life, knowing what we need to do at the right time, creating
Mhm.
action, checking on opportunities, looking at vulnerabilities, areas that we can actually make a sense of change. Those things actually plays a very powerful role living a life of purpose. And I honestly thank you for actually bringing all these certain steps and all these certain procedures for those who are still trying their best to see how they can actually find a clear path down to where they're actually going in life. And also in regards to your book, that actually divert us down to the 30 days way. We can actually just create simple step, natural, that can actually be part of us, part of our journey, and it's actually creating an impact in our life every single day. Mr. Rufus, there is also a question I normally ask during the end of the show. From our forefathers, from our ancestors, there are a lot of beautiful things that do exist during our forefathers' time that is missing in our time today. If there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, what do you think that thing will be, Mr. Rufus?
Wow, that is a very, very big question. That's a very, very big question. Um, what comes to my mind is learning. You know, it's in these days, a lot of people don't want to listen. They don't want to. They want to do things in their own way, and I believe that being able to have an humble spirit to learn from people who have attained what we would like to attain, and it will help. In the olden days, one of the way people succeed in they go to their old people, and they will, whether it is business of the family, they learn it, and then when they become their own, they start that business, and they build on that knowledge. But this day, it's not like that anymore. People just, feel like they don't really need to listen to anybody. And I think having an humble spirit to learn from people, especially people who have gone ahead and people who has achieved something that we would like to achieve, and having an humble spirit to come to them and ask them questions, and listening to them, and to guide them, and I think it's very important. That's what come to my mind. Really, I don't know why, but that is what come to my mind. That's a very good question, right? And that's what I would say to that.
All right, Mr. Rufus, you and I, we agree that the rise of artificial intelligence has partially added to one or two situations when it comes to learning. In
Yep.
seconds, thousands of words have actually been gotten. And we've
Yep.
actually gotten the solution. I will believe that is what we should go with. And I think that is where a lot of young people are diverting attention to. And we
Mm.
just have to remember that there is something we call natural experience and technological experience.
Mm-hmm.
Technological experience only gathers data. Natural experience actually comes from experience from emotions as we humans. And that
Yep.
natural ones are our elderly ones, those who are out there, those coaches, those consultants, those who actually carries those natural experience that can actually
Yep.
guide us and actually put us through the right paths. And that is why we actually need to continue to build our attribute of learning
Yep.
from people. We do understand that technology has done a lot of great things for us to make things more easier for us. But I
Yep.
believe that we can also try our best to go outside that space and learn from people, learn from the elderly ones, learn from people who are actually in some bases, in some areas in life. It will really help us in a very huge way. Mr. Rufus, I do want to use this opportunity to thank you for the time and the opportunity for us to have this profound and insightful conversation today. Thank you so much, Mr. Rufus.
Thank you, Mr. Togway, for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right, Mr. Rufus. Have a wonderful day, Mr. Rufus. Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks.